Hello and welcome to the weekly NABLL update show. Hello everyone, my name is Trevor Butts. I am filling in for my man Greg Beecher as he is traveling today and unable to do the show tonight. So I'm filling in and hopefully things will be alright for us here tonight, and we should have a great show on tap for all you fine folks watching. We have two people joining us here from the NABLL, as we have Chris Turner joining us from the Queen City Steamboats. He is the general manager of the Steamboats down in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we have Rich Hodge joining us here from the Virginia Golden Bears. Rich was one of the co-founders of the Golden Bears and does some work with the league itself as well. And gentlemen, welcome to the show, and happy to have you guys on here tonight.
Absolutely.
We will now we'll start with Chris here, kind of like how we did last time. I asked you a bit to just talk a bit about your background, if you don't mind, and just how you got into lacrosse and how you wound up here with the NABLL.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on here and giving us the opportunity to talk about Cincinnati lacrosse and what we got going on. As far as my personal background, kind of, somewhat stereotypical story. I was in high school, went through a high school, had a pretty solid baseball team. I was tired of playing baseball and knew I wasn't going to make that team anyways. And so all my football buddies did the textbook marketing. Hey, do you want to hit people with sticks? And I said, that sounds fun. And I was hooked ever since. So got a couple looks for college. Ended up going to West Point and made the practice squad there, but then quickly realized my grades were not going to survive playing as a full-time college athlete. So it still barely made it through at the end of the day, but I did graduate and then just stayed in touch with the game through watching stuff, men's leagues, club teams here and there, and then started coaching about 10 or so years ago. And when we moved back to Cincinnati, got involved in the scene here, and we can talk about the specifics of the Steamboats later.
Absolutely, I'll go ahead. So my background in lacrosse, grew up in Northern Virginia, played in Vienna, went to Madison High School, played at Virginia Military Institute, was a walk-on there. I played in the fall for one semester. I was not an academic all-star there, so very quickly realized it was much easier to be a college student than a college athlete. Once I graduated from VMI, spent the early 2000s just coaching youth league and getting involved with the high school here, became a head coach. Kind of been involved in a variety of different lacrosse activities here in the northern region. Became a high school coach and so on. More recently, in the last decade, I'd say, came back to box lacrosse during COVID. Was one of the only things we could do outside. There was an outdoor rink that allowed us to kind of run scrimmages, and started doing box lacrosse with kids during COVID, and that's kind of what was the inception of kind of my rebirth of box. Tony and I started the in the last year of the IBLA. Tony and I then decided we wanted to work with some folks to build the NABLL. So I am one of the board members of the NABLL. I help with media and stuff. Also run Beltway Lacrosse here in the DC area. If you play field or box, you probably play in one of our leagues. So that's kind of my background. Excited to be here.
And we're glad to have you here. Thank you guys both so very much for joining us. Amidst the chaos here, as I'll talk here now with Chris. We'll ask you just something I wanted to make sure I mentioned. You told me that you went to Army West Point earlier today, and I just had to make sure I mentioned that. Can you just talk a bit about what it was like for you over at Army, and everything that goes into going to school there and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously has its challenges and everything like that. It's they my wife was joking around with me earlier because our oldest is entering his senior year of high school, getting ready to make his college commitment. He'll be moving away from home. She's like, you got to remember, you didn't actually like have to go make life decisions when you went to college. You went somewhere and they told you what to do, what to wear, when to wake up, everything. I was like, yeah, but but no, it's really really good. The biggest thing about it, obviously, a lot of great leaders, a lot of great individuals have come out of there and done amazing things. It was I went in 2001, just before 9/11, so that was obviously an impactful moment in so many lives across the country. But then, our class, the class of 2005, we graduated in 2005. We became known as the class of 9/11 because that happened during our freshman year, just right down the road. So many of my classmates and my friends that graduated went on to lead troops in combat, did amazing things. Eric Minio, give him a shout out. He is one of the directors of Team Red, White, and Blue and Shootout for Soldiers. Has taken his passion and love for lacrosse and turned it back into an amazing thing. Really excited to see people like him and so many of my other classmates that have just done great things. After graduating, did 11 years active duty, and then left active duty, went into the reserves, and now I'm coming up. I actually just hit my 20 years, so I'm getting ready to retire and done with Army. But it's really a great thing. Proud of my time there.
That's what I'm doing.
So as you train.
Yes, I thank you for saying that, Rich. That is why I wanted to mention it. Thank you so very much for your service, of course. And sorry to cut you off there, Rich, but I had to make sure I got that in there as well.
Yeah, no worries. Talk a little bit about your transition from being in the Army to what you're going to do next.
Yeah, so when I first left active duty, I actually went and got a job working for an industrial laundry company, and so that was interesting. But did that for a few years, and then right around the time that COVID hit, I was actually mobilized with the reserves down to Fort Bliss, Texas, and as I got back to battle. Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Got to coach down there too, which was awesome.
My mom's family's from El Paso. It's a great town. Okay. I'm thrilled to hear that lacrosse is growing there.
Oh yeah, it's getting big. They got a good community supporting them there. So yeah, got to do that, and then when we got back in the middle of COVID, the company I was working for, unfortunately, had been hit hard and downsized. I had to take a couple months in between, but now I work for a company that I've been working with them for 4.5 years, but absolutely love it. It's a company called Orion Talent. We are a recruiting company that focuses on military veteran talent. So I love it because I get to just talk to people, help solve problems for companies that are looking for a good source of talent, and then get to give back to my brothers and sisters as well. So it really have a purpose in what we do, and I love getting able to do it. And it gives me a lot of freedom to be able to be involved in the lacrosse community too, which is also great.
It's awesome.
That is some awesome stuff, Chris. And just swinging things over here to Rich, for a moment. Can you just talk a little bit about the Virginia lacrosse scene, being down there, as the co-founder of the Golden Bears, just what things have been like, getting players and just how things have all grown just down in Virginia over the last few years?
Yeah, so we play in the Mid-Atlantic, so it's basically Baltimore, Virginia, and of different teams. So there's the Wild, the Cannons, the Golden Bears, and then there's a new team this year called the Kraken. So it's really grown. It's really, exciting. When we originally kind of were doing stuff in this area, there were only like 2 teams and, well, 3 teams actually. So it's really grown. Like to see so many players participating now, and so between Beltway Lacrosse, the Maryland Lacrosse League, we've seen a lot of development of adult box lacrosse in the region. It's really cool to see, after a few years, how developed it's gotten, and it's very, very competitive. There's 5 teams now competing in our region. The Wild is, obviously one of the best teams in the country, and every year they have just a really, really good team. But I mean, this year, the Arrows have really built a very strong team. The Kraken's new, but they've been very competitive. The Cannons have been very competitive. So very exciting to see so much talent and development in the Mid-Atlantic. And as different areas like Pennsylvania, there's growth in Harrisonburg. Starting to see more being played in Philly. I think long term it'd be great. I would love to see the 2 regions kind of join forces and have a north-south. Philadelphia is kind of it's like the epicenter of box lacrosse in the East Coast, I think, because it's within like 5 hours of everything. Whether you're in Boston, Albany, DC, you can kind of easily get to Philadelphia. So.
The Arrows took the Wild down to like a 1-goal game, didn't they, to open up the season?
They did. So it was a very, very competitive game. I spoke to a couple of the Wild guys, like asking them, "Hey, what happened there?" And they were like, "They're good." Apparently, the Arrows have recruited some really good young players, and they've really built a really solid roster. So I know that the Bears played them the other night and lost. I think that it will be a very competitive region this year. So, and if the Arrows can knock the Wild off in the playoffs, that would be a huge story, I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's some great stuff. Love hearing all that, Rich. It's interesting to me, especially down in Virginia. Just how things have grown and changed in the lacrosse community. I've always thought that could be like a sneaky good spot for a pro team. Like in my opinion, not a ton of other like professional teams to draw attention away from. Not a college athletics down there, but I've always kind of thought it could be a sneaky good spot. But talking a bit more about the NABLL and you guys' teams, we'll start here with Chris. You're the general manager for the Queen City Steamboats, and can you just tell me a bit about how it all kind of came about in terms of like as a team, and like how'd you guys end up with the name and that brand? Because I think it's very interesting and unique for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cincinnati Lacrosse and our men's club, if you will, has been around for a while. It predates myself plenty, and I actually, when we moved back here in 2016, they had a club that had been around for a while. They did change names a couple of times. They were sponsored by Rheingeist for a little bit. So when Rheingeist was a small brewery before they got big, there was the Rheingeist Lacrosse Club, and then they had a masters level team that's the Slow Breakers, and it just kind of always went around. And we had field pickups set up pretty consistently, and we had box pickups or drop-ins once a week. Then we had, when the IBLA was around, when it formed and started, there was the Cincinnati Flying Pigs, and that was run by Mike Katsanis, who's been involved in a lot of great programs as well, and still helps out with Team Greece as well. But he set that up and was going, and then when the IBLA folded, the players, we were all looking. I was a defenseman consider a switch in position. And one of our primary goalie was preparing to move away. That was Sean Murphy, who played. Now he coaches for Team Ireland, but he's done great things to help just keep the sport going in so many places. He kind of took me under his wing, taught me a little bit about being a goalie. I consider myself a decent sized guy, so everyone rallies around the goalie anyways. And we took a year to kind of see which league got its legs under it, because there was the NABLL, and then there was the Great Plains Box Lacrosse League, which now just goes by BLL, the Box Lacrosse League. But kind of figured out which one, because we kind of sit right in the middle between the two. And then when it all came down to it, we had other teams close to us, Nashville, Columbus, Troy, that are all in NABLL, and we decided to go ahead and join up with them. As far as coming up with the name, we had a small planning committee. We batted around a couple of different things. Some of the ones that we played around with was Butchers, kind of a homage to the Flying Pigs. We had a butchered pig on the logo, but decided we'd play nice. Just looking at it, we wanted to come up with something that was kind of classic and iconic. So Cincinnati is known as the Queen City. There is a huge riverboat steamboat festival here every year, and just as it all kind of came together, wanted to keep simple colors: red, white, and blue. Cincinnati Reds, and there's FC Cincinnati, which is orange and blue. So we're paying a little homage to the other professional teams in the area. And then Queen City Steamboats. Just kept it nice and clean, and that's how it came up to it. And joined the NABLL last year, so this is our second season. And then we play in a bunch of bear paw tournaments and other regional tournaments as well.
You guys have done a great job with your logo. One of the things I've noticed is you guys do a lot with your social media presence, marketing. Appreciate. I know it's each GM, right? Like, we wear many, many hats as we're doing these things, having to run the Instagram or the TikTok or the YouTube, filming games, building rosters. So I appreciate, looks like you guys have gotten really good at using AI to do some graphic things. I just saw today you guys did something cool with a few members of the team, turning them into action figures and stuff. So, that's cool. Like, we're senior B, right? Like, we're just doing, like, we're kind of building it as we fly this plane. So kudos to you guys. I think you've done a great job, and hopefully one day we'll unify the whole box lacrosse scene under the NABLL. It would be great one day if we can have a tournament and have all the different teams in the U.S. play under one banner.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like you said, I've gotten a little savvy with Chat GPT and figuring out how to do prompts and everything. It's fun. I like it because you get to do some, we can poke fun at the Coyotes. We did the one with us, like, had them in a headlock, and different things like that. It's a good time, and then sometimes it just throws you some off the wall things that we're like, oh god, that was nightmare fuel. So
have they ever responded to the meme more? Like, do they ever get it into the fun? Or
they will a little bit. They made the point that we've yet to beat them, and so I told them we were bringing bigger guns this year, and then they asked, oh, how big, because we still lost. So we need to get it going a little bit more.
Yeah, it's good. We used to kind of go back and forth with Wild. It's fun banter for sure.
I love that. That's just great. You gotta love the back and forth there, between the two teams on the social medias. Rich, we got to hear a bit about how, Queen City formed and all that. Rich, can you tell us a bit about, how you helped to bring the Virginia Golden Bears to life and how you guys, settled on that name and that brand and whatnot?
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting experiment. So we were introduced to a uniform provider, and the provider was basically like, "What do you guys want to do?" And we were like, "We didn't at the Golden Bears logo, there's a couple of different versions, and so we, Tony Gray, the other co-founder, is Native American. He's from Cessna, and we kind of wanted to tap into his background in building the team branding and logo. We wanted to keep it like really traditional and pay honor to the Native community. So it was really cool. Like, the artist built a whole logo. And if you look at there's two logos. So there's the main Golden Bear logo, which is the head with the state of Virginia in it. But then there's another bear paw logo, and it has all the animal plants in it. And it's really, really cool. So I'm not an expert on it, unfortunately. I know a tiny bit, but wish Tony was here to share a little bit more. But it's similar to the creator story, and so as we built the branding and logos, all of that was kind of encapsulated in the logo by the artist. They did a really good job. So there's like 2 or 3 logos that we use. That alternate bear paw logo is pretty cool. It has a lot of really cool detail in it with the different animal plants and stuff. Very, very cool. So.
Yeah, that's great. That sounds cool. And, I'm going to have to give it another second look here to make sure I find all the details there in the logo. I love it when, different teams and logos have those details and, pay homage, like you said. I think that was a very nice touch. But, now to get in more about your guys' teams and, what's going on the floor. And we'll start here with Chris. The Queen City Steamboats 2-4 right now, second in the Southeast Division. You guys have had Wyatt Fruland leading the way for you, most of the year. 21 points for him on the season. He's having a great year so far. What do you guys got to do to try and, pick up a few more wins?
Yeah, great question. So, Wyatt is definitely our offensive powerhouse. He played. He went to a couple of different places, but finished up his career most recently here at Thomas More University locally. He's studying education over there and getting his master's in it. So he had his 5th year eligibility, his COVID year. He was able to use that. Played over there, strong attackman, quick shot, super smooth. Outside of that, probably the biggest thing, a couple other people that we've added this year. We have a bunch of local guys that have just been in the box scene for a while, know a lot. But then, so Max Schroeder is, on my desk there. Max Schroeder is one of our assistant captains and coach. He's played with multiple teams throughout different tournaments. Probably has some of the most box knowledge out of all of us that have been here for a while. So he's one of our transition guys. It's a key part in just keeping the ball moving. Probably the biggest thing that we gotta do is settle on offense. We've gotten really good at the transition game, and the majority of our goals have come off of fast breaks. We need to get a little bit more comfortable and settling down on the offensive side. We actually are adding one more person to our roster who has a lot of Canadian experience. Just came from, I believe he said he made the Team USA Juniors, if I remember correctly, but Nick Elam. So he'll be coming in. He's a shifty lefty, so he'll bring a nice little pop to our offensive side there, knowledge. And then another player that has been pretty instrumental in helping us just solidify our defensive unit has been Sam Marshall. So Sam played, I forget where Sam played college, but he's from, crap, I can't even remember. He's from Canada. I know, it's very, very broad. But he was recruited by the Rush. He was actually drafted by the Rush and went to their training camp. Ended up didn't make the final cut for him, but his experience and knowledge, he's been playing box for years. He's brought just a whole bunch of new life unit, and we've already seen it pay dividends. So I think we got a good blend of veteran experience, a lot of young kids that are learning the game and really love it. A bunch of field knowledge that we like to yell, your field is showing as they do certain things, and remind them it's box lacrosse. You got to get a little more physical out there, but I think that's the biggest thing. We gotta clean up and hold a little bit more offensive possession is the key to turning around and getting a few more wins.
I am being told from AJ Zucchini in the chat, Franciscan is the school you were looking for.
Gotta love the chat.
Hey, they help us out when we need it. And you mentioned, or I talk about Fruland there, spent some time as a Thomas More Saint. That was new to me. Interesting to know. And now just talking with Rich, your Golden Bears are 2-2, sitting third place in the Mid-Atlantic Division at the moment. You guys have had, C.J. Stoll, Jake Woodworth. They both lead the way in points with 9. What do you guys got to do to, make sure you finish above that 500 mark?
I think this regular season is going to be incredibly competitive with the entire Mid-Atlantic. We're kind of lucky. One of the things that I also do is run the college league. So Beltway has a college box lacrosse league that we run in conjunction with the NCBS. A lot of our college kids go play in the national tournament every summer, and those kids are now starting to feed up to the Golden Bears. So Jake is one of our guys. Nick Dupuis played for us last summer. So it's exciting to see these guys. Jake Pratt, exciting to see these guys start to hit the roster. Josh Sanchez is another one. C.J. Stoll, one of our coaches. Isaiah Davis-Allen, one of our coaches. He kind of runs the whole program for us. So really exciting to see these guys start. I look at the statistics and the people that are leading the board, and really just a competitive group. It's really unbelievable. All the teams, I'm looking at assists, and it's like wild. Like every goal they score is assisted. So I think there's just a ton of talent in the Mid-Atlantic. It's exciting to see, the Arrows, coming back strong with some new players, and it's not a one-horse race, right? Like I know everyone thinks, the Wild every year they just come out of this region. They are a great team, and I think that everybody in the division plays them tough. Every year the playoffs are really grueling. The Wild are a great team and have done it back to back. It's really amazing what they've done. But I don't 2-2. I think we're fighting for that 2-3 spot right now. I think the thing that the Bears have always been strong at is our defense. Isaiah leads that group. Jamin Ray and some of the other fellows that are on the back end. I think when we're healthy, we have a very, very competitive group. As they used to help out on the D side, I think we've got one of the best defensive units. We always had Nick McAvoy taking draws, always very helpful for us. Very physical team. I think that's one of the things. Gritty, tough team. I think that helps us. Coming down the stretch, especially in the playoffs, being able to battle. So.
Gritty teams that have been battle tested tend to do well in the postseason, in all levels of lacrosse. So that, makes a lot of sense as what you guys are, hoping will ring true for your Golden Bears team. Just going to bounce back over here to Chris as we begin to start to wrap things up, looking ahead at the rest of the season. We got to hear some, Rich mentioned a little bit about the regionals and whatnot. What would you say your guys' goal is for, the playoffs and whatnot? Is it to win that regional? Is it to just make that appearance? Where are you guys, looking to try and be at the end of the season?
Yeah, so end of the season, I think we have the tools in place to make a decent run at our region. So in the Southeast region, we have Nashville, Knoxville, and Atlanta. So coming up for the rest it's always a good team. They're in the Midwest region, but because of it just makes sense, because we're kind of right on the border between both, to get games in with them. We actually held our own against them at a little round robin out at Fort Wayne. So even though they took it, we really saw a lot of things and cleaned up the fast breaks. I think we can really show something against them. Nashville, I think it's going to be a real solid game. We feel pretty confident against seeing what we'll face with the Shiners out of Knoxville and then Atlanta. But every game, anything can happen. When we go out there and play our game, we really do believe we can hang with anyone. We just got to put it all together at once. So our goal is to win the region and to earn that national bid. We'd like to do it this season. If we don't get it this season, I think we continue to grow, learn, and we're definitely going to be that force coming into our third season next year.
So the goal still to win that regional, which, hey, you gotta think big, and hey, you never know. We're gonna turn things over to Rich now. You mentioned a little bit about trying to take down the Wild and whatnot. Is that like the big goal so far for you guys, or is that more just part of it, part of the way to winning that regional? What do you think it is for you?
I think you gotta get through the Arrows first. I don't think you should be looking past the Arrows. I think they've proven this season that they're here to play. I think coming down the stretch of the playoffs, it's going to be interesting. So we added the Kraken this year, so it's gonna create an interesting tournament formula. So the last couple of years, 2-3 would play each other for the opportunity to play the Wild. So it's gone back and forth between the Arrows the last couple of years, quite honestly. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to set up the playoff run here, whether it'll be 5 versus 2 and 4 versus 3, and then some kind of play-in to see who goes on. But it would be very interesting here to see. I think the biggest thing will be you got to win, you got to advance, you got to get through the Arrows. That's going to be it, and then hopefully you still got some gas left in the tank for the Wild. So I think any team that comes out of this region is going to be incredibly competitive. As a Bears fan, and I've always thought it'd be great if we at least go to the tournament to see how we fare. Wish there was like kind of an open division that you could like create, so that you could maybe pay to play, but like we could at least go to the tournament and see how we fare against some of the other teams from around the country. I've always kind of wished we could get some of the teams that want to travel kind of friendlies or some kind of activity at nationals to get some more teams there, more players there to kind of see how we fare. It's also it's always tough, right? Like some of these teams, they come and play and they play their 3 games, and then it's like, well, could we do a couple more extra games for them? Guys that are coming, we get guys that are coming from Seattle, we get guys coming from Austin. They're really hoofing it to get there. They're paying their own way. They travel well. It'd be great for those guys to be able to get some extra games in. But I think from my standpoint in this region, I think you're going to have to get through the Arrows first, and then make sure you got some gas left in the tank for the Wild.
Rich, I kind of like that idea of some type of open division or something. I think there'd be a lot of interest from a lot of teams. Basically, hey, qualified for nationals. Go do your thing at nationals, and then we're going to hold a secondary, kind of open tournament for any of the other teams and try to centralize it. And I think that could be a really fun event and just get more games for everyone and kind of see where you fall against people not in your region.
I think one of the things, like being a board member, we've always tried to do is create more opportunity for growth. invitational where maybe we take our best 4 teams and we invite, maybe some of the other leagues that are around the country to send their best teams and see, are we truly the best? Do we have the best teams in the country? Are we truly, could we build a true national champion in the U.S., North America, Senior B division? I want to see nothing but growth for box lacrosse in the U.S. I think we've done a really solid job over the last few years, but I think there's a lot more work to be done, both at the collegiate level, the junior level. There's just so much to do, and unfortunately, like lacrosse right now is a little bit splintered, right? Like we need to figure out how to create partnerships with the professional leagues, both outdoor, field and indoor. We have to figure out, how to make the junior system work, working with, creating more college-based opportunities. And so all of it kind of flows up and supports the general managers that are doing so much work in each one of these franchises, helping to bring in talent, helping to, there's so many things, like, helping them find more talent, guys that want to play, finding facilities to use. I mean, the list of things that we need for boxing in North America is endless, unfortunately. But if we can continue to grow it and build it, I think we can really help each other.
Yeah, definitely want to keep growing the game, of course. And I like that idea that you guys kind of mentioned there about having like an open tournament. For those that maybe didn't qualify for nationals, get to go on to that sort of tournament. And I know Chris, you mentioned like FC Cincinnati and down in that area, they have the U.S. Open Cup in MLS. So why not something like that? Other pro sports do things like that, so that could be a good idea for the NABLL to look into in the future potentially. As we look at that, I see in the chat AJ is the enforcer, always willing to set the tone when we need it. Hey, you got to have guys like that on every team. We hear AJ's the enforcer for the Steamboats. You guys have one, Rich? I know you said you really like to pride yourself and pride your team on playing some solid defense. You guys have that enforcer type player down there?
I don't think we have any enforcers. We've got a really solid D, very physical. I think all the boys are ready. I don't know that there's got like one guy. I think they're all pretty tough guys. I think of it more as a band of brothers. I would say Isaiah probably leads that unit. But they're all tough guys. Like they're all big, strong guys. Like I don't think we have like an enforcer per se, but I might be wrong.
Now, I hear you mention Isaiah Davis Allen. Is he playing with you guys or is he coaching with you guys?
So he's doing both. So
okay.
So Isaiah's an active player for us. I know he's also playing up north a little bit. He's retired from the field game. He's an active player for the Wings. Then I've recruited him to help us with the college kids. And he's leading our college program. Great guy to have involved. But he's retired from the field now, so he just focuses primarily on the indoor game.
No, that's great. I mean, to have somebody like that with his NLL experience, playing in Philly, to have somebody like that's got to just be a huge help, I would imagine, for sure.
It's been a huge blessing. I mean, he's got a young family. He just had another kid, and he sacrifices a lot to help drive and grow the game in North America. He drives every Tuesday from Baltimore to Virginia to help our college program. So he's truly dedicated to helping others, and he gets involved. He got involved earlier this year trying to help with the rules. He really wants to see box lacrosse grow in the States. So he's been paramount to helping us develop and build our college program over the last couple of years. So.
No, that's great to hear. As we do wind down now, I do want to give you guys each a chance to let everybody know where they can find you guys and your team. We'll start with Chris here. Where can they find you or find stuff about the Queen City Steamboats?
Yeah, obviously the NABLL website, we keep all our stuff up to date there with our roster and schedule. But then our primary means is Instagram. So, like I said, I try to keep it fun out there on Instagram. Poke at everyone else, but our Instagram is Steamer Lax. And then we also have our YouTube. We have set up to be able to live stream all our games this year. So Steamboats Lacrosse, you can follow us on there. And through those, eventually we will. We're working. One of our team members has the ability to build web pages and everything like that. So we are going to get a web page up and going soon. But yeah, Instagram, YouTube, and then keep an eye out for our webpage coming soon.
That's great. Love to hear more about the growth, especially on social media, and that you guys are going to be getting some games streamed. That's also good to hear. And now, Rich, where can they find you and more info about the Golden Bears?
So the Instagram really has all of our information. Tony's built out a Facebook page. There's a website. You can find it all through the bio on Golden Bears Instagram, as well as information about Piranha-Lax. It's kind of the box training program that Tony's built out. If you're interested in more information about our college team, you can find that on belwaylacrosse.com or the Belway Instagram. So there's tons of stuff out there. You can research if you're interested in more information, or shoot us a DM. Happy to help anybody that's interested in more info.
That is some great stuff here as we will wrap things up on the weekly NABLL update show. Rich, Chris, thank you guys so very much for joining us here tonight, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for the time tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it. Got to throw in a toot for the boats out there.
Alrighty, as we will say so long for now, and thank you all so very much for watching. And we're clear.